Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 10. This is a challenging chapter, but I know you are going to do well. It takes time, but it will pay off. To begin, I want to just have an overview of this. Look at what has gone on before. We have studied first declension nouns. First declension nouns end in alpha or eta, like hora and graphe, and these are feminine nouns. The first declension nouns are feminine. Second declension nouns are nouns with stems ending in omicron, as in logos, and that those are masculine or neuter nouns. Just a reminder of what you already know. Coming now to third declension nouns, you will notice that it is a new declension that you don't know yet, but it has stems. Instead of ending in a vowel, the stems end in a consonant. Third declension noun stems end in a consonant. And this is part of the first noun rule that you learn. Stems ending in alpha or eta are feminine. Stems ending in omicron are masculine or neuter. Stems ending in a consonant are third declension. So you learn that in your noun rule number 1. And you will notice that it has its own master verb chart. But don't be frightened because the case endings, the master case chart, the endings are going to be very similar to the first and second declension. Only a few of them are going to be different. Coming to third declension now, there is a big difference, and the big difference is that the consonants of the third declension noun reacts to the case ending, like sigma. So the case endings of nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, masculine, feminine, or neuter, those case endings, when they're added to the consonant that ends a third declension noun, there will be certain reactions that will become clear later. So instead of just adding the nominative singular case ending sigma, in this case, to the stem of the noun, such as in logo, getting logos, in this case, the sigma interacts with the stem. It interacts with the stem ending consonant of the third declension noun. That is like a lot, but just hold that in your mind. It's coming up again. In short, the consonant that ends the third declension noun stem interacts with the sigma, and changes will happen when you add the sigma to it. And you will find that there are three new case endings in third declension nouns. And there are two case endings that are a little bit different, just a little bit different. You've seen them before, but they kind of change a little bit. But the rest are the same as the first and second declension case endings. You will identify and memorize the case endings for third declension nouns, but mostly memorize the new and different case endings because the rest you've already learned. This is just to get your mind ready for third declension nouns. As you come into third declension nouns, there are few things to keep in mind. Few things, like 4 hints that you can keep in mind. The question is, what happens when a sigma follows a consonant in the third declension noun? What happens when the third declension noun ends with a consonant and then it is followed by a sigma, like in the nominative singular case ending? What happens? In that case, if a stem of a third declension noun ends in a kappa, that is a consonant, and you add the sigma of the second declension case ending nominative, you add it to the kappa, you get k. That's what happens. A stem ending in kappa, like this one is a stem, it ends in kappa. When you add sigma to this kappa, you will get the k. That's hint number 1. Hint number 2. In the nominative singular, the sigma forms the k when you add it to the kappa. In the dative plural, the case ending for dative plural is sigma iota, and when you add it to the kappa of the stem, you get xi. That's hint number 2. Hint number 3. When the stem of a third declension noun ends with a nu, the nu will fall out. It will drop out before the sigma is added. Like in this word tin plus sigma, you get tis. The word means who. It's tis. This sigma is the case ending because the nu dropped out before the sigma. Hint number 4. Tau cannot end a word in the third declension noun, so it will drop out when it is followed by a sigma. So if you are going to add the sigma to a word to a third declension noun that ends with a tau, the tau will fall out at the end of the word. For example, onomat is the stem. Onomat. When it is followed by a sigma, it becomes onoma. Onoma. Again, those are 4 hints to keep in mind. This will come back to you as we look at the different forms in more detail. So now let's just walk through using the word sak. Sak. This is saks. Saks is the Laska form of the word meaning flesh because it's nominative, singular, and it's a third declension noun. Now notice the stem is sak. Sak. You add a sigma to it. The kappa changes to he. So you add a sigma, the kappa changes to he. So sigma and kappa combine to form he. In the first declension noun, second declension noun, you notice that you just add the sigma to the stem. But here, the sigma joins with the kappa to form he. The genitive will be sakos. Sakos, which means the ending of the genitive in third declension noun is us. When you look at the genitive, you will notice the stem of the third declension noun. So it is important to always look at this genitive form to see the stem of the third declension noun. So this is a new ending in the third declension noun, us. Us. Here you can compare with second declension and first declension, as which you already learned. The dative singular will be saki. You see the stem? Sak ending iota, saki. And then the accusative singular is saka. The ending is alpha, so it joins with the stem sak, saka. And this is a new ending for the accusative singular for third declension nouns. Okay? For third declension nouns. So you have sak, sakas, saki, and saka, reflecting the changes that have taken place with the addition of the case endings. In the plural then, in the plural you are going to have the ending. This is a new ending for third declension nouns. You're going to have sakes. You see, you have the stem plus the s, sakes, nominative plural, masculine and feminine. Sakun, okay, case ending, the same as first and second declension nouns, sakun. Saksi, this is a different ending. It looks a little different because in first and second declension, you have iota, sigma. Now they are switched. You have sigma, iota. Because the sigma comes up against the kappa, then you have he, the sigma joins with the kappa to form he, and then the iota. So you have saksi, saksi. Then in the accusative plural, you have sakas, sakas. You notice this ending is familiar to you, but here it is both masculine or feminine. So you have sakas as accusative plural for masculine or feminine. Okay? That is that. So when you come to third declension nouns, you will see third declension nouns are organized according to the last consonant of the word stem. According to the last consonant. So there are three. There are 3 stems to third declension nouns. You have the stem ending in a word like kappa, like sak. consonant ending in mat. Here it ends with a tau. The ending is with tau, and third declension nouns ending with a nu. So you have kappa, tau, nu. There will be other letters coming up that you will see. So there are three categories organized according to the consonant that ends the noun in the third declension noun. What do we mean by that? Remember the four hints? If you add the sigma to kappa, it becomes ki. The nominative singular sax and the dative saki are because the sigma came up against the kappa. Remember that nu drops when you add a sigma to it. And remember that tau does not stand at the end of the word when it comes up against a sigma. So tau would drop out. Just a review. So now here are the three stems. Let's look at them. You have sac, stem, sac, the noun third declension noun stem, third declension noun stem, onomat, third declension noun stem, tin, tin. So when you add a sigma plus sigma here, when you add a sigma as here, you get sach. Here, onomat is the neuter. This one is masculine or feminine. You will know by the article. Okay, and the ending is sigma. In the neuter, there is no ending, so tau does not stand at the end of a word, and it also drops if it is confronted by a sigma. So you have here the tau drops out, and you have onoma because there's no case ending. And here is a word meaning who with an accent. It means who. The stem is an adjective actually. The stem is tin, but you remember in the hint, nu drops out when it comes up against a sigma. So nu here is gone, and the sigma nominative singular sigma case ending comes up to replace the nu. Then you go to the genitive. You have the sac as the stem, the ending us. Then here you have the stem onomat, you have the ending us, and here you have the stem tin, you have the ending us in the genitive. So look at the genitive to see the stem of your third declension nouns. Then dative saki, onomati, tine, accusative plural saka, onoma, no singular, saka, onoma, tina, tina. That is so far your third declension nouns. You can listen to this again to make sense. In the plural then, in the plural we have sakes. Okay, this is a new ending for third declension noun as sakes. In the neuter, onomata. Since the ending, neuter plural ending is alpha, the tau now stays onomata. And then in this adjective, tines, because the ending is s, the nu stands. Then you have sakun, like in other nouns, onomatun and tinun. And then you have saksin. You know what happened here in the plural? The dative plural ending is sigma iota. The sigma joins with the kappa to form ki, and then the iota stays. Saksi, and then onomasi. This is the dative plural, and then tisi. Remember, this nu is called movable nu because you can either have it there or not have it there. In the accusative plural, you have sakas for masculine and feminine, onumata for neuter, which is the same as the nominative, and then tinas for masculine and feminine. That is part 1, and I will stop here. When we come back, we will go to part 2 of this lesson. Thank you very much.